It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's like in.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We're live.
We're live.
It caught us in mid-discussion. Hey everybody, Bradley Benner's Semantic Mastery. This is Hump Day Hangouts for May 11th. This is actually episode, what, 79? Wow, that's crazy. We've got Chris and Hernan and Marco on today. Adam is running in the woods, so so he's not here today. But what's up, Chris?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Hey
Excellent.
Hernan, how are you?
Hey guys, hey, what's up?
And last but not least, Marco in sunny Costa Rica.
Well, it's about to be rainy Costa Rica, so. But it's nice and warm. It doesn't. That doesn't change.
You asked for me to. Where the hell is it? I'm looking for the. Maybe I got to change.
Special link.
I can grab the quick link.
Are we able to share that events page now? Have we solidified the time for Monday?
Yes, the time is set.
All right, so bear with me 1 minute. I'm grabbing the link. We've got a webinar, guys. If you want to tell them what it's about, Marco, while I get the link.
It's just some secret squirrel type stuff, man. You know, some Morocco mole thrown in there. No. JavaScript links, iframes, double iframes, overlaying iframes, stacking iframes, you name it. We're going to get into it. You know, I'm going to be telling people this is totally free. You know, you're not obligated to buy any of our stuff. Our stuff, of course, will come up during the webinar because, I mean, that's how we're doing. How we're discovering all of these things is through my test for RYS Academy, what we were calling the Make Google Puke project. Just a ton of things that we're doing where we're finding out that we can rank just like we were back in 2005, right? The SEO time machine. 2 weeks to number one or to top 3 in the 3-pack. 2 weeks to top 15, top 10, right? That's 15 days or less. And so that's how it's working right now. And we're going to tell people what it is that makes it all tick, or some of it. I'm not going to reveal everything, but I will be.
You better not reveal everything for free. Shit.
No, I will be revealing. You know, it's free. I want people to have value. I want them to know what's going on and what's working, and I want them to see that we turned SEO on its head, man. Whatever they heard about SEO and penalties and all of that, you can make it like not apply at all to whatever it is that you're doing. So that's what it's all about.
Well, I posted the link on the event page, guys. It's Monday the 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I think it's 1 p.m. Is that what it was? I was just looking at it. Just a moment. Yeah, at 1 p.m. Monday, May 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, join us if you can. It's mostly going to be Marco. Is Dr. Gary coming on, or is it just you?
I hope to have Dr. Gary on. You'll be my wingman, but if he comes on, I hope he does, because he'll have some great stuff to share, some of the stuff that he's been doing. So, okay. Yeah, I hope to have him on.
Cool. Okay. Other than that, Chris, we don't have anything else to mention, do we? Do you know?
I think we're good for today.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen, and we're going to get right into questions. And I should be locking this on me. Okay. You guys tell me if everything's coming through okay.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
We're good? Okay.
Yep.
I fucking love the memes, man. Wayne's back to memeing again. It's awesome.
Cameraman is on.
Did you say something?
Yes, is the cameraman on?
Yes, it's done.
Sweet.
All right. Randy M., can you go over how you go about doing keyword research when tackling a new site or niche? Yeah, what I can do is I can point you to a resource, Randy, that is going to give you pretty in-depth training as to what it is that I do for when I'm doing keyword research. And let me actually, here, I'll pull up the link and then I'm just going to drop it on the page. It's, guys, this is a free, let's see, just a second. Keyword. I set this up as a funnel a while back. Last year, actually, I set this up as a funnel when I was testing, when I first started testing some affiliate funnel stuff, and this was the first one that I'd set up, and I'm running traffic to it with YouTube ads, and that's it. But there's a so just opt in, guys. You'll be put on my list for this, but I don't do much mailing off of this or anything. So, but anyways, go here, and it's keywordsuggest.co. I'm going to drop the link on the page here in just a moment. But you can go here and opt in, and then it'll send you to the actual training site where I've got, I don't know, I can't remember. It's been a while since I actually even looked at the training site, but it's got like 6 or 8, maybe even 10 videos on there about how I go through keyword research. Of course, some of them are a little bit dated, but it won't matter because it's the same exact process that I use now. I haven't changed my keyword research process in the last, I don't know, 3 years. Other than the addition of using PowerSuggest Pro, which is my favorite keyword research tool of all time, and that I actually have a couple videos on this training site about how to use PowerSuggest Pro, as well as another one that I use called Rank Spy. So those are the 2 additional keyword tools that I use. But everything you can do, you can do it without using either one of those paid tools, and I teach you how to do that in this. So let me just drop this link on the page, and there's no sense in me going through that right here when you guys all have access to keyword research training here. So just one moment.
While you're doing that, let me just, a word of warning, if you have white hat sensibilities, you can still attend my webinar, although I will be going thoroughly and deeply into manipulation and all kinds of stuff that you can do to
So you might offend some people, is that what you're saying?
You know, some people with white hat, so-called white hat sensibilities might be offended by the stuff I have to say. But what I have to say to that is, go to the webinar, listen to what I have to say, so that you know what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Come listen to what I'm going to teach you so you know not to do it.
Right. What's bad about
everyone else can go rank and make money.
Yeah. Randy, just to follow up on this, just to give you guys, just for the benefit of everybody that is here, for keyword research, I'll tell you pretty much the 3 things that I'll do when I'm, and in this order is I always go to Google Trends first. That's where I always start with keyword research, guys, is Google Trends. And then I identify, because that way I can sort by, I can filter by location. I can go all the way down to a city level if I want, or back it out, level by level if I need to get more data. So, for example, I can go from city level to a regional level, from regional to state, from state to national, from national to which would be a country targeting, and then I can go worldwide if I wanted. So I usually always start with Google Trends. I put my seed terms in. I identify from the related keyword phrases at the bottom. There, it'll show you, if you scroll down to the bottom of the Trends screen, once you've searched for a keyword, set your filters, which is what I always do. I do everything. All I do is US-based stuff, so I always start at either US or drill it down into either state or regional level. But anyways, once you've identified the trends data for a keyword, if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you're going to see where it shows historical data for the top related keyword phrases that are related to the seed term over time. But then there's also a rising tab. If you click the rising tab, it's going to show you keywords that have had a significant increase in search interest recently, okay, and so that's part of the reason it's called trends, because it'll show you trending terms that may not have a lot of competition yet. You can get out ahead of trends. But that's where I always start. Make a list of the related keyword phrases. Then I'll drill down further into some of the related keyword phrases by just entering them into the search field for Google Trends. Once I've created a nice little list of seed terms, then I'll go right over to PowerSuggest Pro, and I'll start doing searches there, which is, keyword suggest. I'll look into Google Keyword Planner too, but I don't really care much about the Keyword Planner guys anymore for SEO. I do use the Keyword Planner for pay-per-click stuff now, but I don't use it much for SEO, only because those aren't SEO metrics that you're looking at. They're PPC metrics. So there's a lot of keywords that don't even register in AdWords that are actually receiving organic search traffic. And so that's where the Suggest scrapers, it doesn't have to be Power Suggest Pro, that's just my preferred tool for it. But you can use any sort of Suggest scraper. There's free ones online too. They're not as robust, but they will do similar things, albeit not as much. And then I use the Suggest scraper tools to come back with all my long tails, and that's pretty much how I do it. And that's it. That's the extent of keyword research. I say that's all, but a good keyword research project will take me, sometimes 2 to 4 hours to complete. Once I'm done with it, though, I'm done. Like, I can go tackle that niche, and I never have to. Well, I don't want to say never, but I won't have to do keyword research for quite some time, unless it's a niche that is very, very young or new, and it has new keywords are entering into that space. If new keywords are being invented, in other words. But for most things that are well established, once you've done the keyword research one time, you're done with it. You can run with campaigns for months or even years off of that one keyword research list that you've created. So keyword research is the tip of the spear, guys, so make sure that you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So Bradley, can you do the keyword research for me?
No. Not unless you pay me lots and lots of money.
Right. Just to add to what you were saying, Bradley, I like SEM Rush as an extra keyword research tool. My process would be to add a keyword, whatever keyword it is, whether it is a long tail or a short tail, into SEM Rush and check the competitors and see what they are ranking for.
Yeah.
Usually that will usually tell you. That's usually done for you keyword research,
Yeah.
Because
that's true. And it's funny you mention that, because I don't actually go into SEM Rush, but I'm using blue chip backlinks for everything now, for a ton of stuff, and they integrate through SEM Rush with the keyword discovery, where you can essentially take a URL of a website and drop it in, and it will return all of the keyword, like the keywords that the site has pages ranking for, which is that's also great for keyword discovery, because if you're unsure, if you're going into a new niche, one of the best ways to identify keywords that are driving traffic is to go look at the top 3, 5, 10, whatever organic sites listed for your main keyword, and drop them into a tool like that, which will identify the keywords that are that those sites are ranking for. And since those are the top ranked sites, they're receiving the most traffic. They're probably being optimized. So you should, if you identify those pages and keyword phrases that are ranking through a tool like that, then you can target the same keywords and then make modifications for your campaign as well.
Yeah, that's also true when you find a blatant affiliate website or a blatant SEO website that's ranked with pbns or something like that. That's usually the case. When you plug that into SEM Rush, it will tell you the keywords that these guys are ranking for, and they are usually optimizing them for. So that's a good strategy.
And then lastly, for keyword research, if you have a web property that you have already up, like this is why I use the ATM or Lead Gadget, but you can use SERP Shaker for it as well. But if you create a website and just like blanket it out, especially those kind of sites that are like mass page generators, and target a handful of keywords around your niche, and build a whole bunch of pages, and then just let the site sit. Now this takes some time because it has to season. The site has to age or season a bit, which it takes time. I mean, for the sites I'm working on, they take like 6 to 8 weeks to fully index. But then so like if I'm going into a new niche, I'll do my keyword research up front. But I like to build one of those mass page sites very quickly. It's simple to set up. They're easy to do. Once you know how to do it. And then just let the site sit. And 6 or 8 weeks later, by the way, just so you know, I'll connect it to Google Search Console. And then 6 or 8 weeks later, once I'm waist deep into my campaign for whatever project it was, I can go log into Search Console for that particular site and look at the keyword, the search queries, the search data. And that's going to reveal a lot of additional keywords that you may not have even discovered in your keyword research. I found that using those types of sites for research and discovery is almost as powerful as the traffic that they can generate. You know, almost as valuable as the traffic that they can generate, that those sites can generate, because you end up identifying a bunch of actual real search queries that people are searching for that may not even be showing up or registering in any sort of keyword tool. So use Google's own data is what I'm telling you. That is very beneficial. Okay, Ed says, just wondering what's up with the domain authority on all the Web 2.0 properties. Have they been devalued now? Blogger, WordPress, and Tumblr all show a domain authority of only 1. Now when checking the Moz toolbar, will this now have a detrimental effect on our networks? Thanks, guys. No, Ed, it won't. Domain authority, like, honestly, I don't even worry about manipulating domain authority anymore. I used to. It used to be one of the main things we do, but I just don't even care about it anymore, honestly. You know, it's not going to affect what we're doing. And it's probably just a glitch in the Moz bar or something, because the sites still have domain authority. It's probably just not showing in the toolbar. And I didn't even realize that was happening.
Yeah.
It could just be something on your end, Ed. To be honest with you.
Probably, yeah. It has to do with proxies and whatnot. But just to add to what you were saying, Bradley, have in mind, Ed, that we're doing networks mostly for traffic and backlinks, and all of those, Blogger, WordPress, Tumblr, they are social networks in and of themselves. So they will bring traffic, you know. It's about the backlinks and the traffic that they can get to you. So.
Yeah, because I'm showing Blogger 96, WordPress 97. Remember when WordPress used to be a 100?
Yeah, 100, yeah.
It used to be. It's not anymore. Let's look at Tumblr. Showing 99. It's still registering for me, Med, so it might be something wrong with your browser. Most likely that's it.
He could also be talking about the subdomains or the profiles that he added under his own URLs.
Well, those would be page authority, though.
Yeah, I would be even worried.
Yeah, but that would be page authority, because even a brand new subdomain site that you set up on Blogger is still going to have a 97 domain authority, or whatever, 96. You know what I mean? So the domain authority is, you know, always going to be the same. It's the page authority that's going to be 1 if you set up a brand new account. Michael Frank says, to create an XML sitemap, do you suggest using the plugin Google XML Sitemaps or create it in Yoast? It depends on what you're doing, Michael. If you've already got Yoast on your site, why add another plugin? Right? If you're already using the Yoast SEO plugin, then just use the Yoast SEO Sitemaps, unless you've got an enormously big site for some reason, in which case you'd want to use the better WordPress Sitemaps plugin. Which will allow you to paginate your sitemaps. It'll also allow it to cache your sitemaps. There's a lot of things that'll do. That's like what I use on my ATM sites, is the better WordPress Sitemaps plugin. But other than that, if you already have Yoast on your site, why add another sitemap plugin? It doesn't make any sense. You'd be bogging down your site. Keep your sites lean as possible, guys. Sometimes we don't drink our own Kool-Aid. Our own site is like bogged down with way too many damn plugins. I bet you 80% of them aren't even being used, and we got to clean that shit up, which we've been discussing for the last week. So, but for like client sites and sites that I'm actually, you know, actively ranking, I try to keep my sites as light as possible and use only the bare minimum of plugins to accomplish what it is that I need to do, because it makes the sites run better and it creates less maintenance issues with conflicts and updates and all that kind of stuff. What would be the maximum number of network properties we should list in the same as area of the JsonLD markup? Thank you. Well, Michael, what I do is I just try to identify, well, first of all, I add all of the properties that are what we call semantic hubs, any social data hub partners we put in there, and then also I identify what the most powerful links are that are linking to us based on what Google tells me, and then I add those to the same as well, which includes citations too. So I'll use same as for citations, or the ones that are Google tells me are the strongest ones, and then also, like I said, any kind of semantic hubs, social data hub partner sites, and the big social media networks. I don't know that there's a limit. I don't think that there is. I imagine you could put as many as you want in there, but you just don't want to get spammy either. I don't know if there's an actual maximum number, though. I doubt that there is.
No, yeah, I don't think there is, actually. When you start adding everywhere where your site is listed, well, not everywhere, but the big ones, you can get like, I don't know, maybe 20, 25, even 30 properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Okay, Tim says, hi, do you do much with tool CrowdSearch? Yep, I sure as hell do. I've been using that since November of 2014. And I use about 45,000 credits a month. So, yeah, I use a lot. Think about getting it and how to use it. Thanks. We have a training. We did a webinar way back when. There's been a lot of changes since. And as a matter of fact, I think during next masterclass, which is next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do a walkthrough of CrowdSearch to update the training we did on how we use it. So I think next masterclass, guys, I'm going to do an actual presentation on how to use how I'm using CrowdSearch now, because the way I use it has evolved as well. Because the tools evolved, and so there's more options there. And it's funny, but Dan Anton, he actually, and some of the features that are now included inside of CrowdSearch were developed because of things that I was doing with it that I would set up manually, like some workarounds, and he was quite impressed with how I was using it, so he developed them into the tool, which is pretty cool. It's an honor for me because I was just using it to get better results, right? And so I was manipulating, like I was hacking different ways to use it to just get better results, and some of those were working so damn well that he ended up including them in, like coding it in. So let me just give you, I can drop a link. Let me go to Video Manager. I just dropped this in Facebook earlier today, as a matter of fact, because somebody was asking about this. I can give you a link that's to a training I did on how to use CrowdSearch for referral traffic, which you used to have to do manually because there was no. Now you can actually set up referral traffic campaigns inside of CrowdSearch. Before, it used to have to be kind of like I said, you'd have to kind of like hack a campaign together, and this was back then when you used to have to kind of two-step it, but it's really cool. This will show you a concept of how I'm using CrowdSearch, and I've been using this for months and months and months this particular way, and it works incredibly well for both video SEO and for local SEO. I don't really use this much for like national terms and affiliate stuff, but I do for a lot of local stuff and also for video SEO. Okay. Maps, it's working well for maps now, by the way, too. So if you're not in Masterclass, Tim, I recommend that you join, because I'm going to do it.
What are you waiting for? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this will be next Wednesday. We're going to do this, and it's not going to be a public webinar. It's just going to be for our monthly coaching students, either Masterclass or MasterMIND. So let me add this to the top of the page for you, Tim. Tim Vasquez. Okay, this is the CrowdSearch referral traffic video. Take a look at that, and then, like I said, next week I'll go into much more detail. We're going to probably just do a full-on update of how we use it. Greg, okay, I started reading this question earlier, Greg, and I'm going to be a little bit harsh on you. First of all, I want to congratulate Greg for joining the MasterMIND, and he just joined within the last week or so. So he's a new member of the MasterMIND, and we appreciate having you. I did read this question. I'm going to read this out, but I'm going to be a little bit harsh on you, Greg, for the benefit of you as well as everybody else here after I read your question. I'm having problems when splicing feeds in the IFTTT Advanced RSS training. All personal and outside related feeds validate individually. When combining them and in copy-paste the combined feeds into Firefox, it shows up with the yellow box at the top. All posts listed and look good. But then if I test those same splice feeds in a validator, half of them do not validate. Does this mean the splice feeds really are good or not? I've been spending 3 hours per site resplicing and reburning until I get combinations that validate all the way through the process. What a pain, LOL. All right, so here's where I'm going to be harsh on you. Why the hell are you spending that much time on something like that? Like, to me, that is, and Greg, like I said, please bear with me. I'm not picking on you specifically, but we get these kind of posts often and in support and stuff, and that is, like, you got to think, what kind of revenue generating activities should you be spending your time on? And is this spending 3 hours trying to get spliced feeds to validate, is that generating you revenue? Or could you be working on higher level, more impactful activities that are going to have a more significant result on your business and your income, your revenue, right? to me, this is complete busy work. Like in the act of doing stuff, like there's a difference between doing shit and getting shit done, right? Doing shit is just being busy, but getting shit done is doing stuff that is going to progress your business. It's going to add to your bottom line. And honestly, spending this much time, do the spliced feeds validate? I don't know if they do or not. You know why? Because I never tested it. I could care less. I splice the feeds. In fact, I don't even do that anymore because I trained a VA to do it. Guys, should you be spending your time splicing feeds when you can pay a virtual assistant $3 or $3.50 an hour to do it for you? I mean, think about it. What is your time worth? And I'm speaking to the proverbial you, not just you, Greg, but everybody here listening. Like, think about this, guys. Your time should be spent on revenue-generating activities. For something like taking 3 hours to splice a bunch of feeds together, which you could have paid a virtual assistant $3 or $3.50 an hour to do, you could have spent $10 and had that done. In fact, the thing is that with the spliced feeds, I've never even checked to see if they validate, because I don't care if they validate. As long as the feed is intact and the aggregators and directories that I'm submitting it to accepts it, what the hell do I care whether it validates or not? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? So as long as the feed will be accepted by the directory or the aggregator, I don't care if it validates, because they're not so restrictive as to not allowing a feed that's formatted 100% correctly. As long as they accept it, I submit it and it's done. And again, I don't even do that anymore. I trained a VA 2 years ago to do that for me. So now every time that we have an advanced RSS splice job to do, I just hand it over to a VA and it gets done. I don't even have to think about it. Okay? So my point is, and the reason why I say I'm being harsh on you is just because, Greg, you're a smart dude, I know, because the questions you ask are always very thought out, very detailed. And the questions now that you're asking in MasterMIND are the same way. So I can tell that you're an analytical kind of guy, but you're overthinking and overcomplicating stuff that you don't need to be doing. You should be spending your time trying to figure out how to make more money, not trying to get spliced feeds to validate, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's all I'm trying to tell you, man, is like, honestly, I've never checked to see if they validate it or not. As long as the aggregators or the directories accept the feed, that's all I care. That's all I care. Okay? He says, I'm still unable to get any Facebook or YouTube feeds to validate, even liking others' Facebook pages and then clicking on the feed in my liked page list. Any tips or an update on those? Hernan, you did the training for the advanced RSS this time around. Is there anything that he needs to know? Is there any changes or updates, anything?
Well, no, not in particular for the feed splicing. Last time we checked, they were validating when you burn them through FeedBurner. You know, because usually FeedBurner will take care of all the errors, etc.
That's true.
So that's probably, that has something to do with one of the feeds not being valid from the get-go. If that's the case, Greg, try doing, as I show in the advanced training, when you go into FeedBurner, you need to turn the smart feed on. You know, that will maximize the compatibility, and usually that takes care of the entire validation. But I agree totally with Bradley on this case that the only way that the only reason that why we are splicing feeds and send it over to feed aggregators and whatever is to boost our networks. That's like the icing of the cake. That's why it's part of the advanced training and that's not part of the core training, because you can do the core training and you will still be reaping a ton of results. Yeah. So do not overthink it. Usually FeedBurner, again, if you activate the smart feed feature that's laid out in the training, that usually takes care of like 99% of the errors. So
that's true, and I didn't even think to mention that, but that's the truth, because a lot of times those feeds will validate, like especially when you do the smart feed, like what Hernan is saying inside of FeedBurner, it will clear it. For example, if you guys are having trouble in IFTTT, and sometimes there's a hiccup, sometimes there's an issue with your WordPress site, your self-hosted WordPress site, and when you go to try to use an RSS2 recipe in IFTTT, it'll tell your feed is incorrect or incompatible, whatever. IFTTT will give you a red error message and say, no, it doesn't, this won't work. And sometimes no matter what it is that you do, your feed just won't work. But then you go burn a FeedBurner feed out of that same feed and go submit that, and then it works. So FeedBurner will correct some errors, although, again, I don't even care if it validates or not, as long as I can submit it. That's all that matters to me. Okay. As far as the Facebook pages and the YouTube feeds, Facebook page feeds, I don't know. I haven't actually done any of that myself in, God, well over a year probably now. So I don't know about that, but I know the YouTube feeds, I stopped even bothering with YouTube feeds because ever since they changed the format, which I listed the newer format up here that is supposed to be the format that works, they're just not the same. Used to be that feeds would actually, the YouTube feeds would actually, there were several different versions of the feed, but you could actually get a feed that would output the video embed inside the XML file, which was really cool. But they don't do that anymore. Now it's just a list of links with the titles, and that's it. And so because of that, I don't even bother using YouTube feeds anymore for anything, like at all. However, I know that Lisa Allen has a product that she developed to replace Yahoo Pipes, but it does more than Yahoo Pipes, believe it or not. It's called Rank Feeder, F-E-E-D-R. I don't know if that's available to purchase yet. It's been in beta. I'm a beta member and have been for months. I don't know if she actually launched it yet. I think there was a delay, but that's something that if it's available, I would highly it's going to cost you a subscription, but it's very, very powerful. There are some really cool things that you can do with Rank Feeder, like create a sticky post. You can take an individual URL from either a video or a single post or whatever and insert it into the feed and cause it to be sticky, which means it'll stay at the top of the feed at all times, so that you can pass relevancy and what they call co-citations through by just being like guilty by association, just by being adjacent to other people's content and that authority content, relevant content. Some of that authority will pass through to your sticky link. So Rank Feeder, if it's not available yet, we'll reach out to Lisa again and find out when she plans on launching it, if it's not already available, and we'll certainly be promoting that to you guys because I use it myself and it's damn powerful. Okay. All right. Let's see. This is Rico Suave. I'm just going to +1 him because I love his name in Facebook or wherever it is. I have set up a new IFTTT ring for a new project, lead gen site, and a niche painters. Okay, I have done most keyword research. By the way, I found painters to be incredibly easy, but not very lucrative. Just so you guys know, I've dabbled in that niche. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but I was able to rank sites very easily for it. But I had a hard time monetizing the leads. So I'm not trying to pull the wind out of your sails, Rico. I swear. I'm just telling you, I was never very successful in that niche. Lead gen site and the niche painters, I've done most of the keyword research, registered the money site domain, installed Divi theme, Divi builder, now stuck with how the best way would be to both silo it correctly and integration with the supported IFTTT branded rings. I'm confused about all the different technical solutions I found on the internet, even watched a video. Sorry, Bradley from Network Empire. He said sorry about their silo plugin. I don't want to use their stuff. I only want Semantic Mastery stuff on the network. Hope you have some basic suggestions. We all know that Google loves fresh data, and I need posts for IFTTT, how to start landing pages with content supporting subtopic pages and blog posts. I want to have a good foundation to start. The basic idea is building static content about painting in a silo structure. Add silo structure with region, city, local addresses from painters, maps, G+ pages, etc. And when a lead gen job is completed, the painter is posting the job on his region page, and the customer can place. All right. Well, that sounds like a bit of a complicated process. Just because of some of the things that you want to do now, I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find something here. You guys, I might have to. Let's see. Maybe this is it. Nearby now. Maybe that's it. Let me try something real quick. Because this reminds me of something that I was playing with on a site. Yeah. Go check this out. You might want to get this plugin and use this, Richard. It's called nearbynow.co. This has the ability to put maps on pages, and it's got a plugin, and it integrates where like you can get. There's a review function of the plugin. There's also a maps function, and being able to check in, so to speak, like if you got like service contractors, in your case painters. Whenever they complete a job, all they do is there's an app that integrates on your phone too. So there's an app that integrates with the plugin, and all they do is click the button, and it automatically inserts the data from the location of the job that they're at, puts the GPS, the data, the KML file, all that into a map, as well as you can ask the customers to leave reviews and all that kind of stuff. And I've had some pretty good success with this. This is not something that I use on lead gen sites, but I have a client that uses this, and I had to set it up for him, and it works pretty well. It adds local data to pages. Every time the contractor updates from a job that they've done, it refreshes the page with new data and KML files and the whole nine. So this is something that if you're going to be doing a setup like what you're talking about, you might want to look into a solution like this that can help you with a lot of that stuff. Okay, this is not something that I would want to piece together or patch together from various tools. I would try to get everything done in one, under one tool, if that makes sense. I'd have one tool that does all of it, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of compatibility issues, and you're going to have a bigger learning curve and all that. So this might be something you want to take a look at. Again, guys, nearbynow.co. I don't have an affiliate link for it or anything like that, but it's pretty cool, and I've seen some pretty good results with it. As far as the plugins, or the silo stuff, I don't know how much experience you have, Richard. I can tell you right now, if you're not real strong with silo structure yet, I don't recommend trying to deal with a complex silo structure, because they're just that's the reason I call it a complex silo structure, is because it's freaking complicated, and you gotta take the time to map out a site prior to even starting to build it if you're going to use a complex silo structure, or else you're going to run into a world of issues, a whole host of issues when you start to try to build the pages out and everything. And it takes a lot of time just to plan it out, map out the site ahead of time. If you can, try to stick with a simple silo structure. It's going to make your life a lot easier. If you're unable to, because of the type of structure that you're talking about with counties and cities, or regions and cities, you might have to use a complex silo structure. But again, spend more time up front planning out how you're going to build the site. Think about your permalink structure, your URLs, your parent and child pages, categories, subcategories, all of that. Try to figure out how you would build it out, because what you're going to find is you're going to run into some issues with your slugs. If you've got repeated categories across multiple across multiple silos, you can run into issues with your slugs and that kind of stuff, like your permalinks, your URLs. So that's why I say just try to go with simple silo if you can. Also, if you're asking questions like this, you should be in our mastermind, because that's where we can dig into this kind of stuff on a mastermind webinar, where we can literally help you map it out. We can talk to you about. We actually did a webinar. It's several months ago now, but very specifically about the issues that arise when using complex silo structures, and how to build out a big, massive site like this when you're talking about doing either multi-state or multi-region with a complex silo structure. And we did a whole entire webinar where we mapped that out inside the mastermind too. So I don't know if that really answers your question, because this would take the entire hour if we did, but this is something that we could certainly dig into a little bit more in a more a different venue. But this Hump Day Hangout's not really a place for that. But yeah, check out Nearby Now, and then also if you're in master class, you could certainly post a question like this. We could probably give it a once over inside the master class too. We wouldn't be able to get as deep as we did in Mastermind, but that might be helpful. More looking for some sort of blueprint for WordPress with IFTTT category, static pages, post plugins needed, customizations like category, post name, etc. Yeah, that's an involved question, Richard. So sorry I can't give you more data on that right here. Brian says, where are you guys buying aged or expired domains these days to 301 redirect to your Web 2.0s for more juice? The same place I've been buying them for months, Brian. We've talked about it many times. I'll be happy to drop the links for these trainings that we did again. Blue chip backlinks. Hernan, it's semanticmastery.com/blue chip. But I've got two videos here. This first one I'm going to drop is an actual interview that we did with Terry Kyle. He came on one of our MasterMIND webinars, and he's the developer. I can't say enough good things about this tool. It is absolutely amazing. I don't know how I ever lived as an SEO without it. So this is the interview with Terry Kyle. And then the next one I'm going to post is 4 different ways that I use blue chip backlinks to find topically relevant domains to purchase for $10 that I can use for all kind of nasty SEO stuff. And this is 4 other ways that I use it. How to use blue chip backlinks. any of you guys that are serious about SEO, if you're not using blue chip backlinks, you're fighting the SEO battle with one arm tied behind your back. Let's put it that way. So without a doubt, you guys, like, it's $97 a month, I think. Go get it. I don't care even if you're on a budget. Go get it. Get rid of one of your other or two of your other services that aren't producing results for you that you're paying for every month. Don't buy a couple JVZoo products every month that you normally would buy. Do something like that. Come up with $100 a month to pay for blue chip backlinks. It'll be worth its weight in gold. The amount of stuff that you can, it gives you an unfair advantage to be able to buy domains that are topically relevant to what you need, that are clean. You purchase them for the cost of registration, and you use them for whatever the hell you want. It's a great tool. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It looks like it's French. I have a bunch of PBNs, about 15 of them I had set up in the early days, which are not great. They're clean for sure, but just not powerful since they are getting mostly directory type links. They are still linking to one of my money sites, and they have good articles. Now is the time for domain renewal, and I'm just wondering if they are worth renewing. Can I just trash them and reuse their articles on better PBNs? Will this create a problem? That's a great question, because I have a whole bunch of PBNs too that are in the same boat. That were like, they just, I built PBNs years ago to different standards than I do now, and so I've got, and I had many hundreds of PBNs, and I've still got a lot of them. A lot of them I actually do just let expire now when they come up for renewal because they're basically worthless. But if you've got some PBNs like that, those are great for second tier links, but just don't do them for money site links, like as tier 1 links. Like, go ahead, Hernan.
No, I was about to say the same. You can point them to social media profiles, to internal posts on your citations, internal posts from IFTTT posts. They were really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's up to you, man. It's if you spend a lot of money on them and stuff like that, then you might want to renew them. But like I was just mentioning with the blue chip backlinks, now that's why I'm letting a lot of my stuff just expire now when it comes up for renewal, and I'm cleaning out a lot of my hosting accounts because I'm just not using them anymore. They're okay for like video syndication sites if you want to use them for video embeds and that kind of stuff, or for tier 2 links. But I'm just finding that PBNs, the overall effectiveness of PBNs is diminishing unless you're focusing on topical relevancy, and that's really where what it comes down to. And so now I'm replacing a lot of old PBNs that just weren't themed well with new sites that I'm purchasing from new domains that I'm purchasing from blue chip backlinks without going through the trouble of building PBNs, guys. I call it a private link network, not a private blog network, because with the sites that I'm rebuilding from blue chip backlinks that I'm buying, I'm just rebuilding the archive.org files that are downloaded from right within the tool. That way, I'm not actually creating WordPress sites and having to add content and all that other shit. I'm just finding domains that are already related to what it is that I'm going to be using them to link to, and I'm rebuilding the old sites and just hacking a link onto the front, the home page that points back to my money site for tier 1 links. And that's what I'm doing a lot of because it's inexpensive and it's fast. I can put up 3 rebuilt HTML sites from using the archive.org downloader inside of blue chip backlinks in the same time it would take me to put up 1 PBN, traditional style PBN with WordPress and everything. And so I can put up 3 sites in that same amount of time, and I don't ever have to worry about updating them again. Like, I just stick them out there, and they just sit out there with a nice link pointing at my money site, and that's it. So personally, my recommendation would be to let them go and focus more on buying stuff that's more themed well to what it is you're using. But again, it's up to you. If you want to keep them as tier 2 links, you can do that too.
Yeah, and just to answer the second part of the question, I wouldn't. If the content is indexed, like those PBNs haven't been like penalized, I wouldn't reuse the content on current PBNs, because that would be duplicate content. So
yeah, totally agree, guys. Like, I stopped building PBNs. I haven't built a private blog network site in probably 5 months at least. I'm building a lot of private link network sites, but they're a hell of a lot more efficient. They're easier to set up, and guys, I can't tell you. I keep repeating, I like easy. Like, I love easy. The easier that I can make my job, the better, and that's one of the ways that I've really reduced a lot of labor is by just purchasing the domains and rebuilding with the Wayback Machine. It just takes a few minutes to set it up, and it's done. And then it's like set and forget. So, By the way, with PBNs, like, because one of the things we always did with PBNs was put an IFTTT network around it. But with the new sites, with the way that I'm doing it now, what I call the private link network sites, I'm not doing that because I'm not posting to the site. I'm rebuilding the old site, and that's it. I'm done. Like, I'm not adding any additional content to it. If I was, which would be a private blog network site, right, when you're adding content to it, then I would want an IFTTT ring around it. So it's cut down on time. It's cut down on cost. To me, it's just way more efficient. Dana says, can you talk a little bit about GSA and FCS Networker? Eventually, one day, we're going to actually do some training on that, maybe.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, actually.
We've been talking about it for a year and a half now, and we haven't done it.
Yeah.
And what the pros and cons are of using them, I see it in your resources page, but I don't really understand how one would go about using those tools without screwing up. I know they are powerful, but they are kind of scary at the same time. So my next question is, are there plans to teach training through SM on those tools? Dana, that's a great... the fact that you are asking, like, and saying that you're hesitant to use it because of the learning curve and you're scared and all that, that's great. And it personally, like, or I can commend you on asking this question before just going and purchasing it and trying to use it, because I have never used GSA or FCS a day in my life, and I never plan on it, because they have a learning curve. They're powerful tools, but I didn't want to go through the time of learning how to set it all up. So I hired somebody to do it who's been with us now for about 2 years now. He's a ninja at that kind of stuff. And I know Hernan's really good at those tools. I never had any desire to learn how to use them, but I did have the desire to get the benefit of using them, so I hired somebody to do it. I would tell you, Dana, unless you have the time and the desire to learn how to use those tools, don't bother. Just hire skilled people to either do it for you or buy link packages from a provider. It can be us or it can be somebody else. If you go to Black Hat Forums, you can find people that are extremely skilled with those tools that you can hire or buy link packages from. And again, my recommendation, guys, is spend your time on revenue-generating activities. Pay other people to do this kind of stuff for you.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. FCS is easier, actually. GSA is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's like a damn rabbit hole. It will suck your life, because it's so complex. But if you're still, yeah, I would follow Bradley's suggestion. If you still want to give it a go, just in case when you're experimenting with them, just use them on a throwaway domain or something like that, or from tier 3 onwards, like you would for you would power up IFTTT networks, and then with FCS, and then build backlinks from FCS, from GSA to FCS properties. But that's a really complex process. So hopefully, as Bradley was saying, we will be able to do some training in the near future. So
yeah, but it's not on our schedule anytime soon. Just to let you know, Dan.
Right.
The last thing I want to say about that is, if you do plan on playing with a tool like that, like Hernan just said, use it on test sites, or what I recommend doing is setting up like a sites.google.com site, right? Something like that you can basically abuse and not have to worry about it causing any damage to any revenue-generating properties. In fact, you could use the Google sites to rank, and by just spamming them to death. Like, I mean, that's my point.
Quit giving away the farm.
I'm not giving away the farm, but I'm just saying, like, use third-party properties instead of direct to your money site until you become quite skilled with the tool, and then you can actually start, hitting direct to your money site or tier 2 or something like that. But you have to be incredibly skilled. Like, I would never even attempt it myself. That's why I hired somebody to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, usually something that has high DA will sustain the abuse, It can be Google, it can be WordPress, whatever, but yeah, I still agree. I mean, I've been toying with GSA for, around 3 years now, and there's always something else that you can tweak on that tool, so.
Yeah. All right. I just saw the next question said something about, it's still showing. Yeah, the next question was about inside of analytics. Google is showing that that Reddit has been deprecated. Any insider info on what's going on with the social data partners? Now, I don't. Maybe Reddit has stopped sharing as much data with Google. I don't know specifically because I don't use Reddit. Just because Reddit is highly moderated, and every time I've ever tried to use Reddit, my accounts get terminated. So I just don't even bother with Reddit. So
That's because you're trying to spam.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. But they call their definition of spam is very broad.
Yes.
So
They are really anal about the links that you post and everything. So yeah.
if you post a link to a self-promotional link, that's it. You're done. You're out. So.
Yeah. Well, Reddit has people do Reddit because of the traffic. Mostly because of the traffic. Because if you end up like on the front page of Reddit, you experiment something that's the Reddit hug of death, of something like that. They can destroy your website because of the amount of traffic that you will get from Reddit. But it's an art, more than a science to get featured on Reddit. So yeah.
So I can't speak, Ryan, exactly to what's going on inside of Reddit, but if you're seeing inside of Google Analytics a message saying something like that, it's probably just that third-party platform isn't sharing as much data with Google as it used to, and that's why it's generating a message like that. However, if you look at the Google Social Data Hub partners are deprecated as of March. Oh, I'll be damned. There's a thing up here, only historical data. So maybe what they're going to do is these dimensions and metrics will be removed. See data removal for details. I got to dig into that. I didn't realize that was happening. So this must be something newer.
Yep.
You'll get only historical data after April 30th.
There's, while you're reading that, there's actually a hack for that. That's really, really effective, but you can't use it on stuff that you care about or that you're spamming. If you use the Google URL shortener and you drop it in there, you're feeding Google direct metrics.
Yes, that's true, and that's what. Yeah, that link that I dropped for how to send referral traffic using CrowdSearch, it teaches exactly what Marco's talking about. How to use Google goo.gl URL shortener to inject analytics into and social traffic and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I realized that this has got the message here. I hadn't seen this before, so this is fairly new apparently. We'll have to dig into this a little bit more, and we'll maybe talk about it again next week. So.
Yeah, just to add to that, we'll definitely need to dig into that, but still Google will need information from third-party sources, like Twitter or those kind of things like Google Plus and the usual suspects. So.
Yep. Okay, guys, we have to close it up because we are at time. DC Glendo, whoop, there it is. He's back. Hey, if your questions, guys, remember if you've got questions that didn't get answered during Hump Day Hangouts, you can post them in one of our groups, whether the Google Plus group or the Facebook group, and we'll try to get to them there, when we can. Plus, it'll allow other people to comment on them as well. We'd love to answer your questions, but we're actually out of time right now. So, anyways, thanks for everybody being here. Happy Hump Day. Thanks, Marco and Chris and Hernan, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye,